A deadly Labor Day weekend in Chicago as President Trump continues to set his eye on the city, threatening to send in the National Guard as early as this week. At least 52 people have been shot in Chicago over the Labor Day weekend. 7 of those victims died.
The violence included 3 mass shootings that happened at Haddon in California, in Chicago's Humboldt Park neighborhood, and 2 in Chicago's Bronzeville neighborhood, 35th and State and 36th and Cottage Grove. ABC 7's Jasmine Miner talked to people in Bronzeville about concerns about 2 mass shootings happening within 48 hours.
Many here in Bronzeville describe the neighborhood as on the come up, and they say they're not going to let the violence stop the positive work they're doing. For one woman, that means keeping kids healthy, active, and on the field.
Come on.
We're gonna push through because it disservices the kids.
Alexis Hawthorne, owner of the top-tier university football youth program, says even gun violence won't keep her from serving kids in need. Their practice comes just a few hours and down the road from a mass shooting early this morning. 5 people were shot near 36th and Cottage Grove near Ellis Park, including a 17-year-old who is in critical condition.
At the end of the day, to have one person that was critically injured and 4 folks in the hospital, whatever the situation was, it was senseless.
It is the second mass shooting in Bronzeville in the last 48 hours. The other happened on Saturday night near 35th and State, where 7 people were hurt during a drive-by. Those like Alderman Pat Howell are taking action, telling ABC 7 in a statement, "I have long asked for additional police manpower to deal with large illegal gatherings and pop-up parties that routinely occur throughout the Bronzeville neighborhood." It follows Mayor Brandon Johnson signing an executive order this week to avoid the Trump administration from sending the National Guard into the streets of Chicago.
Us as people, we can come together and fix it out on our own. We don't need no one to come here and, wreck shack our community.
Others think.
So here's my question, right? Because she's saying that the people in the community can basically fix it on their own. Then why haven't they? In my lifetime, I've always heard of, not only in Chicago, everywhere else and all of the other urban communities throughout the United States of America where we keep our population in check. Why haven't they? Because I continue to hear this type of rhetoric. I hear this nonsense. I hear people say this type of thing on a regular basis, but I never, ever, under any circumstance, do you ever see any action or change within communities, and black people continue to die, and over 54 people have been shot over the weekend in Chicago. So how do you? Because the mayor certainly ain't got no answers. The community is definitely on a no snitching campaign. The alderman is all getting paid. The city is going bankrupt. The kids is continuing to die. Switches is continuing to be confiscated. Bullets is raining. I seen over 70 markers. There was so many markers from a live stream that I did over the weekend that they had to start putting little stickies on it because they ran out of numbers that went so high. So if you're able to fix your own communities, right? Because you can't fix it with the people that you voted in. The police can't do nothing because they were moving ShotSpotter and they were moving funding. Over 2,000 police officers are down, so they need an extraordinary amount of public safety. We keep on talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion. The Magnificent Mile is more vacant than it's ever been in my lifetime. And so how? And I'm curious. I would love to know what you guys' solution is inside of the chat. How do you fix a situation or a community where people refuse help, but at the same time they continue to want money for a problem that they cannot solve? How do you fix it if you don't want the President of the United States of America to come in and fix it for you? Listen. I'm actually conflicted on this. I'm actually really conflicted on this. And the reason that I'm conflicted is because it's like, on one hand, it's like, yep, you got to drag them to the finish line. And Chicago is actually a part of the United States of America. So you can't really just leave them behind and just be like, nah, you can't really do nothing or anything like that. That's on one hand, right? On the other hand, it's very difficult because it's like, well, you know what? They said that they got it. So you kind of want to just let them handle it because they voted for their own mayor and stuff. And so when they file for bankruptcy or their city completely collapses and they continue to raise the property taxes so that they can fill these budget gaps and holes and, let them take out high interest loans in order to continue to fix their schools. Because on one hand, it's like, y'all so ignorant that you don't even know what's best for yourself. But on the other hand, it's like, y'all got to learn, because if we continue to pull you out of the hole that you made for yourself, then you'll never really learn the lesson. And so it becomes problematic on that front also. What do you do?
The troops could help.
I got kids, and I want to see the community better.
See, it's some people that's like, no, we actually want the National Guard to come in because we want to make the city safer and we want to make the community safer.
Run every day out here. I exercise out here. So for the street to be safer, I think it's really good.
But Hawthorne says
it is what it is, I
her
guess.
football program does just that. Teaching kids a healthier way to have fun.
We're going to do whatever it takes to make sure that these kids have somewhere to come.
I'm assuming that maybe they get funding, I don't know, because they run a football program nonprofit. Who knows?
Topping your news at 4:30, more than 50 people shot and 7 killed across Chicago so far this holiday weekend. Now, the violence is rising as conversations have been heating up about President Trump's preparation to possibly deploy the National Guard. CBS News Chicago investigator Tara Molina live for us at CPD headquarters. Tara, you found out that this weekend was, in fact, much more violent than it has been this time in previous years.
That's right, Marie. Significantly more violent, nearly double the shootings this holiday weekend than we tracked the last holiday weekend. And all of this as Chicago is under a very strong national spotlight. I asked police about that.
I got him. Hello.
You're looking at the scene of a mass shooting in Chicago's Bronzeville neighborhood early this morning, where police tell us 5 people between 17 and 36 years old were hurt. Recovering 4 guns from the scene, investigators are still looking into what happened. It's the 3rd mass shooting we've told you about this holiday weekend, with 7 people shot Saturday on South State Street, 2 women and 5 men hurt. Police say a shooter opened fire on a crowd from a car. And Sunday in Humboldt Park, 4 hurt in a drive-by shooting on West Haddon, opening fire from 2 cars, 3 women and a man shot.
It's a holiday weekend, and that means there's a greater possibility for pop-up parties to be.
Enter criminologist Arthur Larigio, who tells me the weather we've enjoyed this weekend is a contributing factor to the violence we're tracking.
Some of the shootings we saw this weekend, and there were a total of about 55. And
what the hell is on his head? That's number one. And number two, we should not be in a space where, because the weather gets good, that the people start shooting and killing each other. That should not be a thing. And they need to get this guy off the screen.
Close to 10 people have been killed, have been outside in groups. And that can account for the large number of people who were shot and shot at.
I took a closer look at the numbers and found last Labor Day weekend, 26 people were shot in Chicago, 5 killed. This year, more than 50 people shot and 7 killed. Police are not commenting on the increase or addressing questions, telling me they'll share finalized information tomorrow. But with a national spotlight on Chicago,
D.C. was an easy one to explain. Coming into Chicago is a different circumstance. And so we don't have a need for a national presence here. But this past weekend is going to be the precipitant to give Trump the opportunity to bring.
You don't need a national presence there, but we got over 54 people shot over a weekend. Okay, cool. Listen, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Hanley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Y'all let me know whether or not we need a national presence this week in Chicago.